Speedway Report is produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for Racers Reunion Radio. Well, rainy weather chases the world of outlaws out west. Atlanta had sunny skies for Cup's new Downforce package, but they dodged a dreary Friday and Saturday. NHRA brought the new and the veterans into Winner's Circle in Chandler, Arizona. We've got all this and more. Welcome to Speedway Report for Monday, February 25th, 2019, from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. And with today being February 25th, there are only 10 more months until Christmas. Better go check your lights. Make sure they're good to go for the yards. And if you haven't taken them down yet, you might as well leave them up because we're almost there. As we close out February, the last weekend in February, let's take a trip around the Victory Lane lap. Tell you who won everything that we've got anyway for this busy racing weekend. Monster Energy's NASCAR Cup Tour headlined, I should say, a triple header weekend, Xfinity cars and trucks, all down in Hampton, Georgia. The Cup race yesterday was taken by Brad Keselowski in a yeoman's effort with the way he was feeling. Saturday's doubleheader, where they were lucky to get in, the Xfinity race taken by Christopher Bell, and the truck race by Kyle Busch. NHRA had much better conditions out in Chandler, Arizona. In Top Fuel, Billy Torrance collected his second career trophy, and he did it from the #1 qualifying spot as he did his first win last year in Brainerd. Well, Torrance got the easy win when Leah Pritchett smoked the tires in the final round. In Funny Car, Matt Hagan scored his third victory in 5 years in Arizona, and he defeated world champ J.R. Todd in the final round. That was Hagan's 30th career win. And in Pro Stock, wow, racing in his 1,000th round of Pro Stock competition, Jed Coughlin Jr. collected his 62nd Pro Stock Wally, his 81st victory in his long NHRA career. Well, Matt Hartford went up against him, but he found a red light in the final round, so made kind of easy pickings for Jake Coughlin Jr. Wow, 1,000 rounds in Pro Stock competition. Wow. Then, yeah, like we said, new folks and veteran folks in the NHRA Winner's Circle. World of Outlaws Sprints. Well, they had nice plans to race in Page, Texas on Friday night, and then in Kilgore on Saturday. Both were rained out. So they packed everything up and continued on west. The haulers are already at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway dirt track. They will be racing there Wednesday and Thursday of this week. In pavement late model racing, the Pass Tour was supposed to be in Dillon, South Carolina. That was postponed. It rained here all last week here in the Carolinas. Good call. And at the Showtime Speedway near Clearwater in St. Pete down in Florida, Stephen Nasse won the Ice Crusher 150, not the Icebreaker, which they used to call that race. The Ice Crusher. Kind of dig that. A lot of icebreakers, ice smashers, all good stuff. My particular favorite, the Icebreaker up at Thompson, Connecticut, coming up in April. I love those big kickoffs to the season after those long, cold, icy winters where so many of you guys live. Let's talk about the week that was. Pretty good weekend of racing. I'm happy we're back to it week to week. Now, NASCAR's big new aerodynamic package is a topic I'm going to get to tonight. We'll talk more about that. But let's talk about some people first. I've always found people much more interesting than the mechanical factor of this sport. Not that the technical side isn't pretty gripping, but the people are the best part about this thing. I want to talk about Brad Keselowski. Yeah, he won the Cup race, but it was a pretty big deal. It wasn't just another win for him. Battled it out with the flu. Had flu-like symptoms and basically had the flu, him and his wife for that matter. Keselowski lost 6 pounds of water weight leading into the race, so you know he was really not feeling good. And what he did, he didn't practice the car fully on Saturday. He did get in it late in a practice session to get some laps on the car, but Austin Cindric, Tim Cindric's kid, filled in for Brad in the early stages of Saturday practice to get some laps on the 2 car. So Brad did not practice much over the weekend, fought the flu, gets out there, guts it out, and scores victory lane. We've seen guys do this before, and just that intestinal fortitude and the will to win came from Keselowski. And it was a milestone one. It was Kez's 60th career win in Penske equipment. That moved him one ahead of the late, great Mark Donohue for wins driving for Roger Penske. You can even come close to anything Donohue did. That puts you, in my eyes, there with the all-time greats. And between Kez, the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, 60 career wins driving for the captain, and you're now ahead of Mark Donohue. Fascinating stuff, and that win comes when you're fighting the flu at 500 miles in the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It plays with worn-out pavement, a great surface to watch a race, but boy, monkey shakes those cars hard and puts the driver through the centrifuge as well. And isn't that always the way? That big heat in Martinsville so many years ago, we caught Ricky Rudd on one of the classic pieces of film when he climbs out of the car after winning at Martinsville, collapses because of the heat, literally got burned in the car, and just so tough that he fought it out that day and beat everybody else. And yesterday with the flu, Keselowski comes home and takes the checkered flag. I want to talk about a few other folks. Martin Truex Jr. I want to raise the question to you guys through social media, through our Facebook chat, which is running right now, what have you. You tell me, I'm asking you, is Martin Truex Jr. turning into a prima donna? No? Is he? Yes? What do you think? Is he on his way? Has he been a prima donna? I was thinking and just kind of looking and listening to his words about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. late in the going here, and Truex's complaint that Stenhouse didn't get out of his way and let Truex go so he could chase down the leader for the win. I'm under the impression that, yeah, Truex is becoming a prima donna. Not that I don't still like the guy, but he was complaining about Ricky Stenhouse not getting out of his way. Now, Stenhouse just ran his line, which was low, which Truex wanted the low line to go past. He couldn't get past Stenhouse on the outside, but it held him up for too long when he was trying to chase down Keselowski late in the race. I've just never been one. I understand the letting other guys go. I've just never been a fan for that. I'm the guy that says everybody race hard all the time. If you're so tough and you're so good, you should be able to pass the guy in front of you. If you can't legitimately pass him, it is a courtesy for another driver to let another driver by, but it is not a rule, and they don't have to do that. And you race guys how you want to be raced. And as long as Stenhouse realizes that Truex will not let him by next time, I'm okay with it. I would race Truex hard. I'm trying to keep myself in a position. Even though I'm a lap down, there's a few laps left in the race. I'm not trying to mess with the leaders, but I'm running my race as hard as I can. And I've given Truex the whole top side of the track. Go around me, dude. You need the bottom. If you need the bottom and can't get by me on the outside, are you that good? I just go back and the time I grew up, and you just look at how the guys act and react and talk today, and I think, boy, would Cale say that? Would Bobby say that? Would Richard say that? Would David Pearson say that? A guy wouldn't let another guy by. I grew up on the greats of the sport, the Hall of Famers, the foundation builders, guys that built it. And you always say that. You see this on social media a little bit as a fun jokes. Hashtag things Cale wouldn't say. And it was, oh, the lap car wouldn't let me by. So I don't know. I'm just one of, I mean, I understand, because we're going to get to another topic that's related to this in a little bit. But I understand where Truex is coming from that late in the race. Kind of as a courtesy, get out of the way and let the leaders go. But I don't think he was in the way. I think he gave Truex Stenhouse was by himself, and he gave Truex the entire track to go around him. Truex just wanted that line that Stenhouse had. Well, sorry about your luck, bro. Go race for it. I'm a fan of the guys like Stenhouse, or Ryan Newman is famous for this, that he's very, very difficult to pass all the time, but he expects people to race him like he races them, and he's hard to pass. Doesn't let guys go. He runs as hard as he can all the time. Good for him. That's the way it should be. This is part of the problem with our empty grandstands. Now, granted, the crowd at Atlanta was pretty good yesterday, and especially Saturday, considering the weather. But when you get guys just letting other guys go past them all the time, I understand it from a 500-mile strategy point of view. I just don't get it as a race fan or as a racer. I never heard of such a thing until Mark Martin talked about it in the 90s of letting guys go, and I never understood, what do you mean let a guy go? Every position, every spot, every lap, to me, guys used to race hard and dig hard for every position. And I understand the end of the race here. Yeah, just not jumping on board with Truex, and he's fading into the prima donna category, from what I saw at the end of the Atlanta race. Come on, man. You're that much better than him, go past him. It's racing. It's not a chess game. Sorry about your luck, bro. I'm going to go jump to this NASCAR package now, which may have had an effect on how Truex and Stenhouse are racing each other, but let you know that the 100% of this package was not applied to Atlanta this weekend. You will see 100% of this package applied in Las Vegas this coming weekend. What are they going to do? There's 2 more holes going to be on the front side of the grill, on the east side of the grill, where they're not using brake ducts, but where the cars will have an air vent that pushes out that pushes into the front wheel wells. This will actually take front downforce away from the cars a little bit. But what the partial package that they had at Atlanta, how was it? What did you guys think? Not bad to me. Not epic. Not bad either. I thought the racing was improved. The restarts were epic. 3 and 4 wide consistently on the restarts. It was a fair race, though, once they got strung out. I didn't see a huge change, maybe a little bit, but, from previous Atlanta races, it's tough to tell. That's a cheese grater of a track, wears out tires fast, so that's a big factor. You're going to have a whole lot more grip here this weekend in Las Vegas, so I think we'll have a better idea, plus the full package. We'll have at least a better idea of what's happening with it. But I thought the racing was better than it had been in the last several years. But every weekend can't be Darlington of 2003. So I'm going to say it was a good race. Wasn't a great or a fantastic Hall of Fame memorable race. No, but it was good. Finish was good with Truex catching Keselowski with a couple laps to go. What concerned me on Saturday was in qualifying, I was watching guys just run flat out around the track. And I was concerned, well, how's that going to affect the race on Sunday? What's that going to be like? And Rob Tiongson from Twitter reminded me, hey, dude, these cars still got to go through a fuel run, and there's going to be tire wear. So they won't, I want drivers to back off, have to hit the brake and get back on the accelerator. You bring the driver into this equation that much more, which he was right. That's what I saw on Sunday. So still, there was pretty good racing on the restarts. We saw 3 wide, 4 wide. The pack was bunched up for a lot longer, but still when guys got back into traffic, they had trouble coming up through. Kevin Harvick had this. Kyle Larson had this. Kyle Busch a little bit. They had difficulty in traffic. They couldn't just blow through it, even though they were better. So the air wake from the cars that's pushed out, I think we're going in the right direction, and it was much better than what I'd seen. Especially, we've been so critical of these 1.5 milers, these cookie cutter tracks for years. The racing was good, wasn't great, but I'm thankful that we're going to see something's being done to try to get these races better on on those cookie cutters. I'm still not a fan of a championship or a stage, so it's not like I'm going in bed with the Cup Series. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I'm not I'm very interested in Atlanta. I'm very interested in the next 3 races coming up as well, this West Coast swing with Vegas, Phoenix, and Fontana, what this does to the cars, what it does to racing. What are we going to see? More downforce, less horsepower. The past, I thought we wanted more horsepower and less downforce. So I don't know. The pendulum swings. I'm interested in watching this for the first time in a long time to see how the racing is. In several years, I had gone years and years without watching a complete race, and I did. I'm 2 for 2 so far this year. I always watch the Daytona 500, but the rest of the season, sometimes I fade in and out just because NASCAR has changed so much. So hopefully these are some good steps to get them going in the right direction. Now, in the same vein as Martin Truex Jr., I want to talk about Ryan Preece and his accident on pit road yesterday with B.J. McLeod. Let's see. Ryan Preece took blame for this incident. As Ryan was leaving his pits, he ran into the back of B.J. McLeod. And there's where the debate begins, is finger pointing. Who's at fault? Who did what to who and all that. So many of the guys, our audience here, are modified fans. I grew up on modifieds. I'm a huge Ryan Preece fan. He's been on this show before. I got his number in my cell. It's great to have him. It's always good to talk to him on this show. Nothing wrong with B.J. McLeod either, Florida short tracker. The blame on this, a lot of people were pointing it at McLeod. Some people took it back on Preece. Ryan Preece took responsibility for this thing. He said he was looking at his tack, leaving his pit box, watching the tack, because speeding penalties will kill you here. But he took his eyes off the road and he ran into B.J. McLeod. McLeod came under some serious criticism as to why he was pitting then, why he was going so slow, and things of that. Mike Joy was very critical of McLeod under his breath and very veiled, but you can tell by his thoughts that McLeod was still 8-10 spots away from his pit stall, going so slow on pit road. People were critical. Why is McLeod pitting with the leaders? And I'm saying, hey, look, you don't know why McLeod was pitting, which we found out later. If he was out of fuel, if he had a flat tire, and you don't know exactly during a green flag run when everybody around you is necessarily going to pit. You can, but you don't necessarily do. Well, it turns out McLeod had a flat tire, and he was trying to save the car because they need that car to go to Las Vegas this week. We've all seen how those tires destroy a car like a can opener. Well, he was trying to save his car, so he was going slow on pit road. Ryan Preece took blame for this incident, and as big a Ryan Preece fan as I am, I will admit, yeah, the venom and the finger pointing at McLeod, I think, is misdirected. Ryan Preece took the blame, as it should. There's no difference from this if you want to point out how we all jumped on Elliott Sadler for criticizing Ryan Preece 2 years ago in Miami. Sadler ran into, as Bones Bossier says, a visible, solid object in Ryan Preece and then complained he lost the championship. McLeod, a visible, solid object, and Preece ran into him. Sadler, I don't know what he was thinking on that day in Homestead years ago, but Preece said, look, I was coming out of the pit stall. I took my look down on my tack. It's not B.J. McLeod's job to ensure that Ryan Preece gets a good finish today. It's everybody's job to do the best job that they can for their own team. Preece took the blame for this. I'm fine, but there was a lot of hammering on McLeod about how slow he was going on pit road. Why was he pitting? Where was he there? You're looking for excuses, guys. Much like in Dale Jr.'s career, nothing was ever his fault, and his fans blamed everybody and everybody else. I remember about 10 years ago, he had trouble hitting his pit stall. He was out of the box, getting penalized all the time. And the fans were blaming the pit crews. They need to wave their arms. They need brighter colors on the uniforms. They need to have the sign out. They got to do something. Well, 42 other guys hit their pit stalls just fine. This was on Junior's shoulders. B.J. McLeod has every right to be in the Atlanta race and run his race as best that he can. And this falls 100% on Ryan Preece's shoulders. My modified fans, you may not like it. You may not disagree. You may agree with me. You may disagree with me. McLeod was trying to nurse his car home and not tear it up because of that flat tire. He's got every right in the world to do that. How is he supposed to know when everybody around him is pitting? We're in a green flag cycle. You don't know exactly who's coming in then or not. How do we know another lap and McLeod would have run out of gas? Then you got a caution because they got a stalled car on the track. This is Ryan Preece's fault. I love Ryan Preece. Big fan. He took the hit for it. Mike Joy jumped all over McLeod. Guys, Mike Joy, too. I know you're a big modified fan. You're a big Ryan Preece fan. So am I. But get over it. This was just a racing accident. These weird things do happen in this sport from time to time. More often than not, actually. But I love Ryan Preece. Looking forward to seeing him again in Vegas. I think he's going to have a great year. The JTG Jordy cars were doing so well with both of them in the top 10 at one point, Preece and Chris Buescher. So, hey, guys, I'm not going to jump on B.J. McLeod for this deal. I'm sorry it happened, but, hey, when it comes to blame, I think this is in Ryan Preece's corner. You're responsible for the nose of your car and where it is going. On Saturday's Xfinity race, I was a whole lot more interested in the event because there's very few Cup drivers in it anymore. I like the restrictions that are out there. I'd like to see them even tighter. But I'm going to say that look for Christopher Bell to just about run the table in the Xfinity Series this year. He's going to be mowing these checkered flags down. And there is no way Christopher Bell is not in the Cup Series in 2020. No way. There is no way. He's going to win double-digit races in the Xfinity Series. He will be in some sort of a Cup ride for 2020. And one final thought as not final, but sad news as we head out of here. We want to extend our thoughts and prayers to the Hodge family once again. Longtime photographer Mary Hodge passed away since our last show, the widow of well-known Howie Hodge, who photographed the modifieds up and down the East Coast for decades, my entire life, and then some. The two of them were always together, and in poetic justice, they are together again. Rest in peace, Mary Hodge. You did the racing world, and particularly modified racing, proud. God bless the Hodge family. And I'm going to turn to our racer of the week to pay tribute to Motor Week Illustrated, where this show got its roots from. And I know it's low-hanging fruit to go with the winner of the Cup race this week. However, when you tie Mark Donahue's record and you do 500 miles in Atlanta when you have the flu, I'm going to give it to Brad Keselowski, the Speedway Report Racer of the Week on February 25th. No money or plaque, dude, just some recognition, almost as much as yesterday's win down in Atlanta. In between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of auto racing with SpeedwayReport.com. This broadcast and all of our past shows are uploaded on the site. We also have racing articles to read. You can catch our podcast archives on the Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds Facebook page, also on the Racer Reunion Facebook page. On Twitter, we were at Speedway Report and at Speedway Pat, and Instagram at Speedway_Pat. We're at racersreunion.com in the forum, and you can catch up to me connected on Google+, LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel. Big thanks to everyone on the Facebook Live feed for joining the conversation during the show tonight. If you disagreed with me, I want to hear it. If you agreed with me, I want to hear it. Type it up. Let's talk. I want to hear it. I want to hear about it. And as we sign off, I want to thank all of the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here every Monday. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They're quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at SpeedwayPat. Now, on the Drag Racing List Facebook page next is Racing and Rocking with Draglist.com. So if you're on Facebook, just click on over to Drag Racing List, and you can hear Bill, John, and Barb with some really cool music and some drag racing chit-chat. We'll be back here live on Facebook in 1 week. That will be Monday, March the 4th. Can you say March? March, that's right. That's music to my ears. We'll be back March the 4th. We will look at NASCAR and the World of Outlaws in Las Vegas, dirt late models here in the Carolinas, gosh, and a whole lot more. Big thanks for all of you joining us. I will see you next week.